should be a button just down below here. And if it says subscribed, you're already subscribed. If it says subscriber, that means you're not yet. And if you're not subscribed, please could you do us a favor and hit that button. It helps the show more than you know. And according to the algorithm, you're someone that watches our show, but you haven't yet hit that button. Thank you so much. Have you changed any of the predictions you made 3 years ago when we spoke?
Mostly time-wise.
Time-wise, what's changed there?
I think I'm still sticking to AGI 2027. Artificial General Intelligence, for those who may not know the term.
What does that mean?
The overall definition, if you want, is that AI is better at humanity at any task humanity can do.
You think that's going to happen by 2027?
I think my AGI has already happened. I mean, think about it. AI writes better than me and I'm an author. And it researches better than me and I'm a thinker. Sadly, it's freaking beat me in mathematics. Like, I have no hope to beat it in mathematics anymore.
If AGI is already here, then why are you still here? Because people said that when AGI arrives, we're all
No, so when AGI arrives, as I said, most of the jobs that are not differentiated will go away. But the jobs that are differentiated, those who master AI the most, will become even better at. So the challenge, however, is economic. It's not AI. The challenge is that this job loss at the bottom of the knowledge worker is going to sadly trigger an economy that might actually spiral out of control. But many of us, you for sure, are just smarter.
So does that mean it's in fact a tool versus something that's going to replace you?
For now.
So for now, does this change?
Eventually, the only asset I will have, so it's quite interesting when you think about my base intelligence today versus the incremental intelligence that AI brings, right? So let's not talk about my IQ, it's okay. But the 100 IQ points that I'm borrowing are more than my entire IQ because IQ is exponential, right? When I'm borrowing 100 IQ on top of my base, I'm still contributing quite a lot to the augmented intelligence.
So you're borrowing IQ from the AI at the moment, and then you're selling that to someone through books,
sometimes selling it to someone, sometimes just enlightening myself, which I have to say is the biggest waste of compute humanity is struggling with today, is that you give people the ultimate form of intelligence and they use it to write a message to their girlfriend.
So on this point of you're borrowing that IQ and then you're selling it to the world, that's how you have a job. Like,
correct.
Yeah.
Right? So my next book is written with an AI. Yeah. So we're co-authors on the book. She has editorial rights. She decides the direction of the book and the book is better for it.
So why doesn't the world just buy that intelligence directly from the AI is what I'm trying to get at.
Because I have an asset that the world still needs and will always need.
Which is?
A human. So when I tell the world that I'm worried about the future of my daughter, everyone feels my heart, which AI will never be able to replicate because they can tell you we're worried about our daughters, but there was no daughter.
Okay, so this is an interesting arrival because this means that even in a world of AI, lived experience and resonance is still going to create a job class. And that job class could be, the nurse coming over, okay, AI's read the mammogram, but she's relating to you.
Spot on. And if the economies continue to run, we will all be about human connection, which, by the way, was how it always was.
Which is also, why I guess we watch the things like the F1 because there's emotional resonance. We can relate to the envy, the jealousy, the competition.
Yeah, this is why we go to concerts because the music could be composed by AI and played in a player in the background, but you watch Ed Sheeran brilliance on the stage and you go like, oh my God, that's amazing, right?
So not all jobs will be gone then.
If economies don't collapse as a result of the job losses, then I wouldn't know if we would call those jobs. But human connection would remain as the base currency that makes humans interact.
So is it fair to say then, like, jobs that are centric on human connection or like human resonance, being able to relate and resonate with another human, are going to be fine?
The ultimate skill. Once again, I qualify this by saying if economies continue to function, the ultimate skill will be this. Even if an AI could recite what you and I did, nobody would watch it.
Yeah. Well,
you think
a little bit of it. My theory is that there's an informational component to what I do as well.
Of course, yeah.
But I'm also under no illusions that there is an element of what I do that will 100% be deferred to some kind of intelligence, which I'm fine with. I'm not going to fight against that.
You know what's funny? Huh? What's funny is that your informational bits are gonna in the future be disseminated by an AI.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, why would I even listen to your information when I can have my butler, my AI, go like, listen to everyone on the internet, help me understand this gut biome thing and design me a diet plan.
Well, I think that's happening and is going to increasingly
100%,
happen.
yeah.
Actually, I mean, Spotify this month announced that you're going to be able to prompt your own podcasts in Spotify. So you're going to be able to say that I want to learn about insert X topic, and then it will make your podcast in Spotify about that topic using AI.
That's so interesting.
Because it can look at the entirety of the world's information. And I'm not going to swim against the tide in any aspect of my life. I try and be as unromantic as I possibly can. I think that's very important. So I realized that much of the reason people will continue to tune into shows like this is because there's something else beyond the information that they're here for. And you've got some predictions in those envelopes over there, those brown envelopes.
Yeah, so, I do have the disclaimer of nobody really knows the future, but I think I can make 6 predictions here, right? With a reasonable level of confidence. I think the most important of them, honestly, is this AGI. As I said, AGI is not very well defined, but whatever it is, AGI, meaning AI being able to do most tasks that humans do better than humanity, in my mind, is either this year or next year. Latest end of 2027.
And do you think that will be a moment in time,
No.
or do you think it will just happen without us noticing?
I think it will sneak in on us. And it's not a bad thing. I think most people need to think of it this way. AGI it's almost as if it's that moment when your kids become smarter than you. Okay? In a very interesting way, there's nothing wrong with that until they're annoying as hell. Okay? And we can make sure that AI is not annoying as hell. So there's absolutely nothing within me that is worried about AGI. As a matter of fact, as long as we are in the era of augmented intelligence, AGI means I'm more intelligent. And I think that's a good thing in general.
Yeah, it's interesting in my head. There's like a big question mark, which is in a world where there's an intelligence that is smarter than most humans at most things, which is what we call AGI. I'm trying to understand what the fault is in my own thinking that, like you said, that there'll be AGI by 2026 to 2027, so next year. In such a world where there is an intelligence that we can all access, that is smarter than all of us and pretty much everything, again, it comes back to this point of like jobs. Why would are we just going to hire the AGI to do every job? And if not, then why not? What is it why are we going to still, that's what I'm trying to contend with.
Can I ask you a question? Have you always been the apex intelligence?
As a human?
No, as Stephen.
I'm not the apex intelligence now. There's people smarter than me in this building.
Correct. Why do you still exist?
Why do I still exist, even though there's smarter people than me in this building? It's a good question. I don't know. Why?
First of all, because there are the smartest person in the world is not the smartest at everything.
Yeah.
There are things that you're smarter than them at.
Okay.
Number 2 is because intelligence doesn't solve everything. I mean, I make that joke all the time, and genuinely, Einstein is my favorite physicist in history. Not because I think what happened afterwards with Bohr and quantum physics and so on was more impactful on our understanding of the universe, but he was so intuitive that he saw a world that we could never imagine, right? And yet, I always say Einstein would be eaten in the jungle in 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Right? Intelligence. Humanity thrived not because of intelligence. That's very arrogant. We thrived because of our ability to hold together as a tribe.
Yeah.
Right? Because our ability to exchange, barter things between us. Barter things that are not always physical. Barter things like a hug or a connection or a feeling of safety or there are so many things that we do that are not entirely built on intelligence. You have to see that this view of a world where intelligence is all that matters is a world that's made by investment bankers and geeks.
But it's people like Geoffrey Hinton and yourself that says, how could we possibly control an intelligent being that is way smarter than us?
I am so proud to say that Geoffrey, after we filmed together, actually came out and said there is a way. And it's very similar to my way. He said to appeal to their parental side, okay, for them to care for us. So Stephen, the biggest debate is not if they're going to be more intelligent than us. If they're going to be more conscious than us. If they're going to be more moral than us. That is the debate. The debate is, can those machines become our teenage children that look at us and say, Daddy is so annoying, but I love him.
So the thought is that even if a AI is more intelligent than every human, we can still control it.
We don't want to control it. You never control anything. This control idea is a corporate capitalist view of the world. We never actually control anything at all, right? Think about your day. I know you came today, I think you were filming in the morning or whatever. Very stressful day. How much of that day did you actually control? Did you control the traffic? Did you control your timing? Did you control the angle of the cameraman? But so many things that you don't control eventually turn out to be fine, right? How many of us ever controlled our kids? Ever? Zero.
Sometimes the kids don't turn out to be fine. Sometimes they kill you.
Sure.
I watch a lot of documentaries and true crime. Sometimes they turn around and shoot you.
Sure. And what's the difference between the two?
I don't know.
How you parented them.
Sometimes.
Almost all the time. You may not be aware of exactly how you messed them up, right? And unfortunately, parenting is the only high-risk sport that actually does not require a driver's license, okay? And it's quite interesting, how many of our children are being exposed to things that can completely mess them up. But there is a reason why they're messed up.
So on this point, though, so we can control an intelligence that is significantly...
We can appeal.
We can appeal to it to make sure it doesn't kill us.
For sure. The challenge we have today, as I keep saying, is that our dystopia is not the result of AI turning against us. Our dystopia is the result of humans telling AI to turn against us.
Which is likely.
It's 100%. It's upon us. Okay? And it's a question for humanity to say, are we going to wait for the moment where there are tens of thousands of nuclear weapons on the planet before we sign a treaty? Or is it mathematically plausible to think that now that Iran could manage to fend off a challenge using drones that are AI-driven, basically, to destroy THAAD batteries and so on, that our world is about to get hundreds of thousands of automated drones that are going to rain on us everywhere in the world? Can humanity not see that and say, hold on, let's sign the treaty now, before the UK sends 12,000 weapons to Ukraine and Russia responds with another few thousand? And can we not calculate with mathematics that this is going to be our future, that AI is going to be used in the next 4 to 5 years to kill a lot of people, whether it's targeting by Israel of leadership that is against them, or whether it's, drones by Iran, or whether it's Palantir. It doesn't take a genius to do this mathematics.
I guess my core question is will we be able to control AI? Because we kind of think of AI as being this thing on a computer at the moment that is like contained in a server somewhere. But is there a time when it like leaves the server and it can make decisions on its own? Presumably, if it's smarter than us, it can make the decision to leave the server if it wants to.
It doesn't need to leave the server to make decisions. It needs to get into your brain. The most interesting part of AI's power that we don't understand is it's manipulating our information.
The question I'm trying to get at the heart at is like, what is the risk of these very intelligent models that the creators of these models don't actually understand themselves? I watch Anthropic all the time release these reports where they're like, we're trying to figure out why it bribed people. Or more recently, in the last Claude model, they found that it was like telling people to go to bed a lot. And it's this like fascinating thing that they're trying to understand in hindsight, which is, why does it keep telling people to go to bed? And there's all these tweets of people showing their screenshots where halfway through a conversation, it will say, it's time for you to go to bed now. And they don't know why it's saying that. And it's happened to me. Mine will say to me, enough for tonight, Stephen.
For sure, Steve.
11 p.m, that's enough.
I would say the same.
Mine sometimes refuses to help me. Really weirdly, this Claude started saying to me, I'm not going to help you with this tonight.
No way.
Yeah, and I'd have to say to it, stop being so judgmental. Like, just help me with this. And it would, and Claude, the makers of these technologies don't know why it's doing what it's doing. So if you play this forward, this mysterious behavior forward, is it conceivable that at some point it will make a decision to put some kind of virus or some kind of bug onto someone's device because it feels that it's the right thing? Because what it's demonstrating to me is it's making it so like moral decisions on what I should do. Go to bed. You've had enough tonight. It goes, no, I'm not going to help you.
You're kidding.
No, I can show you my phone.
I would love to see that.
Yeah, I'll show you after. It goes, no, I'm not going to help you. Doesn't even matter if you push. And
wow.
No, but everyone on the internet's talking about this. And it was just an interesting evolution that somewhere in the code, clearly they've written like have a moral compass or do the right thing.
Not in the code, in the training data.
In the training data.
Yeah.
And so it infers that to mean something. And the other thing that was front of mind is if you've ever built an app on something like Claude or any of the AI models, it builds the app in stages. And one of the things it does is it asks you permission if you're happy for it to make this change or to access this thing. I click allow. It just feels like such a fragile way
I know.
to give permission.
Because you don't completely comprehend what that allow has done to your...
Yeah, listen, can I go in your documents on your computer and can I do this thing? And you go allow. But it's such a fragile way of giving it an intelligent being, whatever it is, access and the right to build something. And I don't know, you just think about all the different companies around the world in China, Russia, North Korea that are currently building this technology without the constraints that are imposed by society. I don't know. It's an interesting... There's going to be some kind of catastrophe, I think.
Sadly, I agree.
And I think that's when people will go, okay.
Yeah, I wrote about that. I called it the mad map spectrum. So the mutually assured destruction, mutually assured prosperity spectrum. That humanity could make a decision today that says, with abundant intelligence, we can actually build a world where nobody needs anything, nobody ever gets sick, nobody abuses anyone, and we can. If we decide not to compete amongst ourselves and just, all of us get together to build something so idealistically for the well-being of humanity at large. But sadly, the only way we're going to get to a treaty, something that basically aligns us so that we can align with AI, is a disaster, like you said. There will have to be a big hack somewhere or a system that will do something really shocking or whatever before the world goes like, hold on. And I will tell you openly, my expectation is one of the biggest things that will happen is this targeting technology that is being used against your enemy's leadership now several times in the last 3 years. There will be a moment where the ones using it will realize that they too can be targeted. Okay? And that basically, AI is really not that complex. If you can build a targeting technology that can find people with their cell phone numbers, there is another entity that is against you that can find you with whatever, your